morning, everyone. Am I audible till the last bench? Can I see a raise of hand? Thank you. That is just to see if we are still, awake. We still have 1 more hour for lunch. Firstly, thanks Sapphire team for organizing this event and giving us the opportunity to talk about health and which is in vogue these days. And let me also share my appreciation to the initial speech which was given by Ms. Mukta and the panelist discussion. That has added a lot of vocabulary, to my English as such. Some of the things they spoke about is agility, dynamism, diversity and inclusion and other aspects. The operating word there was sustainability. Now it is something like you go to a swimming pool and still don't get wet. How do you kind of achieve being agile, being dynamic, and still being sustainable? What you say in the morning should be relevant till evening. And that's the challenge which we are living in today's world. Allow us to present the scuba gears which help us to give you that sustainability for a long period. And what we also see, in today's world and how things have changed, we are covering all that in 8 slides. I hope that would have bring some smiles to your face. It's a total of only 8 slides. We'll try to keep it short and as minimal as possible. Well, these days, as it is marketed, the smile and happiness comes from pizza and colas. And not to forget Zuban Kesri as well. But let's see if that is real or it's only marketing. I will try to bring in some context in terms of the focus which we are looking at from a health and wellness perspective. We have seen how COVID has ambushed humanity in the recent past and has left very serious silent killers in terms of depression and stress. So how do we kind of address this all together? What we'll try to do is share some fundamental way of looking at health. Although we are seeing what has changed in last 20 years or 2 decades. Let me give some numbers, for putting things in perspective. We say that, every 1 in 6 person is an Indian, which means we are a large population, of course, and we'll outbeat China at least in that part very soon, or we have already done that. Our life expectancy has moved up by 10 years in last 20 years. It was 60 years, now it is 70 years. So that's a good news, we'll live long. Along with it, we also say that we have a demographic dividend. That means that we have a productive workforce. Now that's in isolation when you look at. It's a very large pool of talent which is available. But if you look at one more data point, how it has changed in last 20 years. From 22 years, it has moved to now 28.2 years. The global average is 30 years. So everyone is young that way, if we look at, in total. But can we have this productivity dividend or demographic dividend continuously forever? That's something which we need to look at. Soon we may, because of the workforce what we have, move beyond 30 as well. So in such scenarios, how do we kind of deal with it? When we have diversified workforce, we have dynamic job roles, a lot of uncertainty. Every now and then there is a progression, and immediately after that there is a recession. I don't know who is pressing the button. And we are just listening about it day in and day out. I think in the previous session also they spoke about it. Now, these are the things which are moving northwards, the median age, the aging workforce, and the related aspects on health. Now, let us see how it helps us in the coming day. So we spoke a lot about changing the way we are looking at HR practices, changing the way we are looking at employee performances. As you see, to me, the person looks very healthy on the outside, but that's the myth. Health is not outside in, it's inside out. Here we're talking about his performance numbers, but this organization is also looking at his health numbers. Is there a way we can quantify this? You may say that, this is 40% of diversity, and our attrition is 8%, our PMS increment is 11%, so on and so forth. Can you put up a number saying that our health score for the organization is XYZ? The good news is that we have done it for so many organizations, which we call it as health index. We do it for individuals, we do it for organization as well. And you can plug it in within your entire HR framework. So that's there. Moving on. Let's see how today's employees. Can I see a raise of hand if you relate to it? Even if you don't raise, I will still say relate to it. It's so much ingrained in our life. And it's a true reflection. And when we are saying that this is the way an employee is living, where his life is as difficult as Life of Pi, if you've seen the movie, or even if it is more difficult that way. He's trying to meet ends from all angles. What can we do? And if you see in this, we have not put health purposely, because we know that health has got into a list which is called as list. It is not there in priority. It is very, very episodic and momentary. If there is an event in your vicinity, you will remember about it. Otherwise, these are the things which takes over. So that's the way our current life and current environment is happening. So we could see what more we have. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Now let me speak about one common thing. If you have heard NCDs, which is called as non-communicable diseases. From the global workforce, 70% of the deaths are happening because of NCDs. And it is spreading very fast. And the reason is not anything which is clinical. I'm not a doctor, but I could speak about things which we just shown in the previous two slides, is your lifestyle. Whether we like it or not, that is going to stay there, and we will continue follow that lifestyle for long. Because we want growth, we want business. So at the cost of these things. So these NCDs are growing, 70% of it is happening, and this is why it happens. Because there is nothing in our vicinity to take care of our own health. And what is mentioned in these slides are very common. You would have experienced it, but you would have also ignored it. And we don't realize a sustainable procrastination of these things lead to chronic conditions. Of this 70%, 80% are just in 4 categories: your cardio, respiratory, diabetes, and these 3. So all the discussions which you are making just comes back to the lifestyle which you are managing. If you manage this, you can look at a healthier life in the coming time. How can we forget our female colleagues? I don't need to say more here, but let me much appreciate the way they are juggling the entire thing together, personal life, work life, in different facets of things which they are doing. But how well they are addressing their health, or what are the mechanisms which you have in your workplace to address these? We're talking about getting women colleagues back to work after maternity, or if there is a hiatus in their career. But is there a framework, is there a supporting framework from a health perspective, which can help them come back to work, is something which we need to look at. So let me try to break another myth. We relate emergencies to hospital. Emergencies don't happen in hospital. Emergency gets treated in hospital. 70% of the cardiac arrest happens outside hospital, leading to death. It's only because at that time the situation would not have allowed them to do the necessary thing in the golden hour, which could be CPR, which could be a physician attending to the person, or which could be transferring to a hospital, to say the least. And as we move ahead with our lifestyle obligations, we see this happening more often than not. Last year alone, we had made changes or made difference to 700 lives. So you could see the kind of frequency. This I'm talking about was one single organization. So you could see the frequency by which it is happening. So that's there. Now the question comes is, how do we kind of look at this? Now we can look at it in three fundamental ways. One is the person as is his physiological health when he is at office. Second is, how can we help him when he is traveling, which today there are phenomenal connectivity, and if there are means of travel, the reasons are already many, whether it is personal or professional. So how can we help them there when they are outside office? And the third thing is, how can we look at an employee not in isolation, but together as a unit at a family level? You would agree with me, an employee or his family, if one member of the family is unwell, it affects everyone. And it's almost impossible to find the business manager or HR or anybody else to figure out why that employee is unproductive that day, although he may sound very fit and fine. So this could be the underlying factors. So I'm just trying to connect with what we are saying. We are saying in your office, you stay for 8 hours, but you think about it for 24 hours. That's a different thing. These 8-10 hours, can there be a model to the left as you see, where we have all inclusive of physiological care for the employees? And we have seen, if you tailor made it very well, understand the dynamics of the organization, the nature of business, the workforce requirement, you can really design a very apt solution for them. There is a travel organization which has a median age of 23 years, and it has a combination of field staff as well as desk job, where we have stitched this solution for them, which includes women care, which includes pain management, which also includes their engagement. Because at 23, you really don't have to look at NCDs, thankfully so. So that way you could, kind of take care of it. There is another organization which says that, hey, it's only 20% RTO currently. So I don't have enough, people in my office. How do you kind of look at that? So what we do is we look at a care continuum model. Person A who is at office, same person goes to travel, same person goes back to office. Are you able to link his entire medical history together in one place? The answer is yes. How we do it, and that's how we are able to give a score to the individual and to the organization as well. The entire thing through a medical algorithm gets converted into a score. We also give peer benchmarking, where we say that if it is a cohort of 20 to 25 years, then how are you faring in that cohort? Like rightly said in the earlier discussion, that 23-year-old guy cannot be compared to a 45, at least from an age perspective. And the hypersensitivity towards their disposition on their likings, preferences are different thing, but health will remain constant. And that's why I said in the beginning, we'll try to look at what is more fundamental, from a health perspective. So that's what we do to ensure care continuity. The third one is a family engagement. When we look at family together, we're ensuring that presentism, which is much bigger a challenge than absenteeism, can be taken care well. And these are units which embraces family, employees, and engagement all together. So that's the way we kind of stitch this. And we have a short video after this to let you know how we are walking the talk. And post that, we can have a question and answer session. I was told to keep it very brief. I hope I have met the timelines. Let me move to the video. Please have the music on. So that's from my side, and happy to take any questions now or maybe later, but we still have few minutes, I believe. Well, if that's the case, eat well, sleep well, and stay happy. Thank you so much.
I would request you to stay back on the stage, please. Check one. All right, and on that note, I think the gentleman deserves a huge round of applause for highlighting issues that we are not able to speak, which are not seen. So thank you so much for that. And to present a token of appreciation, I would now request Mr. Ankit Bansal, founder and CEO, Sapphire Human Solutions, to please join us on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Bansal with a huge round of applause, please.
Thank you. Thank you.